Back why your baby daddy calling you this late?
He want to talk about the kid.
Yeah. He want to talk about the kids. The kids are sweet.
More kids.
It's never gonna happen.
Is you sure, Naeem?
Bitch.
Scrappy is high-key trying to get back with me at this point. He's sending flowers to my house every day. He wants to do family things, and I am absolutely not an Erica Dixon. You can spin a block with that one, and she is gonna be there for you and your new baby, and probably be best friends with the other baby mama too. But it ain't gonna be me.
I don't ask for none of this. I ain't ask for my mama to go for this, bro.
And it's serious right now, like.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Nigga, I was on the floor crying last night, bro.
Listen, bro. Don't let that.
No, nigga, my mama, man.
You know, I got people trying to get in my business about the baby and stuff. You know, we got baby mama them too mad. Like, I don't know what I did to her. And then my mom, cause she going through it. I mean, and then
What point do I really just say all this? I'm like robbing myself out of just moments in my life because of my loyalty to somebody who never really truly held me down in any capacity.
Scott, why you reach out to her all day?
Because that's what we do.
I told her I was going through something last night. I said, yo,
And I said I'm trying to understand what's happening.
my mother is dying.
You man hella dramatic.
I'm really just quiet, period. I ain't even got the strength to do this.
You done talk about me to everybody around this motherfucker.
You done talk about me. You done talk about me. You done told you how the hell do that. And I down. But you know what? You know what?
Go away.
You know what? You
Saw that. I ain't going nowhere, and that's why you mad. That's why you really mad.
I'm not mad at you, Bam. I really love you.
Yeah, okay. You blocked her after me and you start back being cool. So she wanna know why you blocked her.
I seen how y'all going. I was like, I'm not even going to.
Well, you know what, Scrap? I will tell you this. You're wrong because you was flirting with her for a very long time.
You said I was flirting with her?
Why was that wrong?
Show it.
I just want everybody to know I don't give a who Scrap flirts with, okay? She's free to flirt with whoever the
So there stood Scrappy. His heart was pounding, and the words he had hoped to hear kept repeating in his mind. He had believed for a long time that if he worked hard enough, Bambi would eventually see him the way he saw her, but her expression was unreadable and her eyes were far away, as the sun descended in orange. As they stood in the glow across the meadow, the tension in the air was palpable, and Scrappy's hand shook as he extracted a little velvet box from his jacket pocket. Ed felt his stomach churn. This was the decision that would make or shatter everything. He had been rehearsing his speech for this for weeks, observing her happiness as she admitted that he had envisioned them standing side by side in the future. This one crucial moment seemed to be the culmination of their years of friendship, their serene comprehension, and their times of laughter. Persistent Bambi's voice cracked slightly as she mumbled, "I'm not sure what to say." As she moved slowly back, her gaze lowering to the floor, his heartbeat quickened. "Tenacious, though I don't feel the same way. I do care about you. I doubt that I ever shall." The words hit him like a blow to the chest, and the world around him seemed to blur the colors of the sky, slipping into a murky shade. He wanted to tell Hayes that this was not a passing moment, and that he had loved her for so long that she was the only one who had ever truly mattered, but his throat felt tight. The words stayed caught somewhere between his lips and his feelings, and there was silence for a long time. Even when a bird's distant call broke the stillness and the air rustled the leaves, none of it felt real. His legs felt weak under him, and Scrappy wanted to get down on his knees and beg her to reconsider, but he knew deep inside that this would only make matters worse. The engagement diamond was dazzling in the softly fading sunlight when he opened the package. Even though the dream was slipping through his fingers, he couldn't let it go, and he wasn't sure why he hadn't thrown it to the ground and gone. Bambi looked at the ring for a moment, then turned back to him, her face sad. "I'm so sorry." Persistent, "I've always supported you and remained faithful." "Bambi, do you not realize how much I adore you? I never wanted to harm you since you're one of the most important people in my life, but not in that manner," she whispered, her regret evident in her voice. She nodded, and as his words trailed off, A tear escaped from the corner of his mouth, the pain leaking through the cracks in his generally robust exterior. Out of the corner of her eye, you deserve to be with someone who truly shares your feelings and can bring you the happiness you deserve. I understand, and I will always be there for you, but love cannot be coerced. It felt like the end of the world, but he always believed that there was still hope and that love would find a way. Her words struck him like a cold wave of finality. When he realized that the person he had planned to spend the rest of his life with was vanishing, tears started to fill up in his eyes. Scrappy had always enjoyed being strong and reliable, but now that it was gone, he felt weak since his whole life had revolved around the possibility of a future with Bambi. With hesitation, Bambi extended her hand and put it. She caressed his arm gently and said, "Please don't be upset. I never wanted this to hurt you." He drew a shaky breath to stabilize himself. To escape the anguish, he wanted to draw away from her touch, but instead he found himself looking into her eyes, which he had always admired, but now felt like a faraway memory. "Scrappy, I'll be here for you no matter what." Correctly but silently, Bambi stated. She turned swiftly, leaving him standing alone in the last of the light, knowing that we both need time to work things out. The ring in his hand appeared to be a constant reminder of everything he had lost, and he couldn't tell how long he stood staring at the empty space where Bambi had been. With the weight of her rejection pressing down on him like a heavy burden, Scrappy remained in the meadow. But he knew deep down that he could give up now rather than wait for Bambi to make amends and come back to him, because despite everything, even the rejection, Scrappy couldn't give up hope that she would somehow come back into his life. And in that quiet moment, as the sun's last rays faded beyond the horizon, there was a love tale that garnered a lot of attention in the center of Atlanta, where the streets are alive with hip-hop rhythms and the air is heavy with aspiration. He made a self-promise to wait as long as it needed because, deep down, he believed that love should never be one-sided. The up-and-coming rapper Lil Scrappy has found a partner in Bambi Benson, and her girlfriend, a stunning model and businesswoman, became one of the most talked-about couples in the entertainment sector. Viewers could follow their tumultuous affair in its highs and lows thanks to their relationship's appearance on the reality TV program Love and Pop Atlanta. They seemed to have everything Scrappy had for a spell, and there was no denying their chemistry. They were the perfect mix of elegance and fire, but like many partnerships that are scrutinized in public life, they had their share of challenges. The stresses of being in the spotlight all the time were present, along with rumors of adultery and intense arguments that were openly portrayed. Bambi's grace and elegance provided a counterpoint to this gritty, unrepentant lyricism. Everything began to weigh heavy on Limelight. Fractures developed over time, and eventually their love story came to an end. Scrappy was unprepared for the shock of losing Bambi, and his public separation was tumultuous. His emotions were strong, and he was devastated by the loss of her. The man who had previously dominated the stage with his confident flow and bold demeanor was abruptly left alone. Recognize that heartbreak happens. Scrappy, unable to hide his sorrow from his admirers, sent letters of remorse and desire, discussing the gap Bambi left in his life and exposing a vulnerable side of himself that few had ever seen. The loneliness he felt without her at his side was so different from the toughness he had shown that it made him feel comfortable enough to cry. In an emotive essay, he begged Bambi to come back to his life, saying that it was not only the loss of love, but also the deep anguish of knowing that something beautiful had slipped from his grasp. The moment was heartbreaking. Mama D, Scrappy's mother, was always mentioned in the background, had a big impact on his life, and had an important point of view. Scrappy came to light. Additionally, Mama D wanted him and Bambi to find a means to reconcile.
Me to her. You blocked her after me and you start back being cool. So she want to know why you blocked her.
I see how y'all going. I was like, I'm not even part of this.
Well, you know what, Scrap? I will tell you this. You're wrong because you was flirting with her for a very long time.
You said I was flirting with her?
Well, I'm gonna say I'm wrong. I just want everybody to know I don't give a who Scrap flirts with, okay? She's free to flirt with
want to flirt with.
She believed that their union was predestined. Scrappy's voice faltered as he recounted his mother's longing for family harmony, reflecting the hopes of those who wanted them to get back together. Instead of reacting as Scrappy had planned, Bambi's quiet strength allowed her to carry herself with dignity and avoid being caught up in the public drama, as Scrappy opened his soul to the world. His sobbing gained urgency from his mother's voice, which seemed to be saying, "You two belong together." Didn't respond to the sad or sorrowful post for her, as though the healing process had already begun. She didn't have to justify herself, and perhaps she had already accepted the world's division. But she didn't let go easily. Every social media post, interview, and fleeting glimpse was scrutinized by fans, media outlets, and followers. People pondered whether love was powerful enough to heal the scars of betrayal or whether time could repair the damage caused by the spectacle that was the narrative of Lil Scrappy and Bambi. Fans were left wondering whether the love they had once seen between Scrappy and Bambi had truly ended, or if the demands of celebrity had ultimately ripped them apart, despite the fact that neither Lil Scrappy nor Bambi had made any public remarks on their relationship. Rumors concerning their relationship status began to circulate as the weeks stretched into months, and sightings of them together at events fueled conjecture that they might be attempting to patch things up. It was just buried beneath the weight of everything they had experienced, and they both focused on their work in the interim. Bambi's life continued on its own. She kept developing her brand and went further into her commercial ventures. She fought relentlessly to forge her own path, and the strength she demonstrated during this time was evidence of her tenacity. Scrappy put out new music as a way to express the pain he was experiencing. His tracks were vulnerable, displaying the anguish and remorse that had consumed his spirit. The public's interest in the pair declined over the months, but the memory of their love story endured. This was her way out of the chaos that enveloped her personal life. Because of his vulnerability, Lil Scrappy's tears, his pleas for Bambi to return, and his mother's sincere words continued to resonate in the hearts of those who had witnessed their love story, even though some people still clung to the hope that they were meant to be together, while others accepted the fact that their chapter had ended and the two had parted ways. The tale of Lil Scrappy and Bambi changed over time from being a public spectacle to serving as a reminder of the intricacy of love, the power of self-improvement, and the impact that family can have on a person's decisions. He was a genuinely human being who was prepared to take responsibility for his errors and love with all of his heart. Bambi's journey was one of empowerment and self-discovery as she carved out her own place in the world independent of the man who had previously meant everything to her. Scrappy's story provided proof of the fragility associated with loss and love, whereas Bambi's trek stood for fortitude and self-reliance. Even while their romance had changed them both irrevocably, perhaps this is what ultimately made their story so remarkable. The love, heartache, and lessons they gained would always be a part of their unique legacies, etched in the music they made and the lives they led, regardless of whether they would finally find their way back to one another. The interview ends at 13:55.
I ain't asking my mama to go to bro.
And it's serious right now, like,
You know what I'm saying, bro? Nigga, I was on the floor crying last night, bro.
listen, don't let that
No, nigga, my mama, man.
Man, I got people trying to get in my business about the baby and stuff. You know, we got baby mama and them too mad. Like, I don't know what I did to her. And then my mom, cause she going through it. I mean,
What point do I really just say all this? I'm like robbing myself out of just moments in my life because of my loyalty to somebody who never really truly held me down in any capacity.
Scott, why you reach out to her all day?
Because that's what we do.
I told her I was going through something last night. I said, yo,
And I said, I'm trying to understand what's happening.
my mother is dying.
You being hella dramatic.
I'm really just quiet, period. I ain't even got the stuff to do this.
You done talk about me to everybody around this motherfucker.
You done talk about me. You done talk about me. You done told you how the hell do that. Yeah. But you know what?
Go away.
You know what? You
All that. I ain't going nowhere. That's why you mad. That's why you really mad.
I'm not mad at you, Bam. I really love you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?